back to the Forged Alliance for Retard series with your host Nibolowski, bringing you some 4v4 middle to higher-ish level action on Canis. Quite a mixed game. I managed to catch it today, and I thought it was well worth the upload. So anyway, we call these guys up here Team 1, and the guys at the bottom, Team 2. We'll start with, in red, at the top left here, going Cybran is Zainu. I'm going to go for Zainu. It could be Zanio or Zainu. Depends if he's French, but who knows? Yeah, so he's going Cybran, and it's home colour, typically red. Very in fashion. Over to his right, second person on Team 1, going UEF, is Disciple. Disciple going in actually quite a traditional UEF sort of blue colour. To his right, going lighter blue, sort of like a teal. I think that's teal. Must correct me if it's not teal. It's Eternity, being, I believe, if I double check the teams here, if it's the last one, so yes, he is indeed the highest ranked player on this particular team, Eternity, going Seraphim. And the usual mesh of mass extractors, and soon to be hydrocarbon. Below him, going orange, in Cybran as well, is not the commander, not a commander, but the commander. Whether or not he hails from the Caribbean is yet to be seen, but he is the commander, and he is going first land, and the same usual mesh of things we've come to expect of the start of a Supreme Commander game. I'm yet to see a game where someone did anything too crazy, but anyway, at the bottom here, at the very bottom of Canis, we will start with, we'll go purple first. And we're going in purple is Torzon Gombok. I'm going to call him Torzon. Might call him Tarzan at some point, but Torzon is where we will stick to for the time being. He has gone Cybran, first land, and a very similar mesh of the power generators, mass extractors, and soon to be hydrocarbon. Below him, going at the bottom left here, is Mephi, corrected for earlier from another cast. It's not Memphi, Nibolowski, it's Mephi. And he has decided to go Seraphim, and I like his highly ranked comrade. He's decided to go the same faction. To his right, down here, soon to be queued up, a few power generators, which as I speak have just disappeared. We have Lapin, which to my understanding in French is rabbit, if I remember my GCSE French. Anyway, he is gone Aeon, I believe the only Aeon player in the game. Brave man. And down here at the bottom right, our last player, Natter76, going a very bright pinky colour, very bright pink, and I think on first land, and the usual what everybody else is doing. We zoom back up, let's get back into the action. An early scout unit out here, all the way from Zanu. Up to +2 as always. This takes quite a bit of time to get everybody rolling. Not much difference in economy, apart from the fact that Natter at the moment still hasn't got a great deal of power, but there he goes right up with the rest of them. As I continue this cast, we have a bit of a lull in the game. I'd like to say welcome back to Guile. And very welcome to have pretty much, I would say, Forged Alliance leading shoutcaster back in the casting seat once again. If you don't know Guile, where have you been? I have him in my recommended links to the right hand side of this video on my channel page. Have a look at him and check out his channel as soon as you possibly can, because that is actually where I get a lot of my ideas and inspiration from, was his channel. Anyway, getting into what's actually happening on the screen at the moment, I'm going to have to push this up to +3, because my god, this is a slow start to the game given the size of the map. We have Mephi pulling over to the left hand side of the map, whilst his opposite Eternity pulls over to the right. It's a bit of a mirror map this. If I just have a look at Eternity's perspective, you can tell that the whole of Team 1 tend to try and grab the top area here and most of the top area here. The land bridges tend to dictate the amount of coverage you should really have. So everything north of this sort of line here really should belong to Team 1, and everything below it, if I switch over to Mephi's perspective there, generally should be Team 2's. An attack ping going down on some early bombers actually out from Disciple. A great bit of harassment at the very, very start. Can't say that anyone's made a truly bold move with their commander as of yet. I can certainly hear a lot of Mantis fire at the moment though. It's not coming from there. I'm trying to figure out in my headphones where on earth the Mantis fire is coming from. Maybe you guys can spot it? I certainly can't. Maybe I am losing my eyesight way too early. But in any case, Mephi looking as if he is getting a few of Zanu's units coming down, trying to sweep down to a bit of harassment. Ah, there we go. I've spotted our first proper battle of the game, and it is between the ACU and Lappin. Decom, I shouldn't say Decom or the ACU. His real name is Oh my goodness, maybe I have made a mistake. I have. Silly Nibolowski. The orange player actually was Ithilus. Oh dear, that's the mistake you make for getting somebody's name off a name changer on the commander. But we all make mistakes. The orange player here is Ithilus. My apologies, he probably doesn't hail from the Caribbean. In any case, at the moment it looks like Ithilus is being pushed back up by Lappin. I'll pop this back up to +2. And looks as if Zanu has managed to push his forces back up here with a weltering Disciple. Only 3 units on the field, which are actually all engineers at the moment. And if I'm honest with you, Disciple fairly light on the ground. I would say the rear air really belonged to Eternity. So there's, if we look at here, Torzon has managed to help Mephi with the units springing up what would be the right-hand flank in their perspective at the moment. Disciple looking reasonably isolated at the top there. A few units down from Zanu, or Zanu, however you want to pronounce it, pulling down the left-hand side here, probably trying to draw Mephi's units back to make sure he doesn't lose his build capacity down here. But a spring double-pronged attack. Disciple, I'm not sure whether he's seeing the danger at the moment. He certainly knows that Torzon's units are pushing up on him. I'm not sure what his priorities are at the moment. But he does not have the units down on the ground. Mephi's units having taken out. He's got his commander back there, so those are going to be taken out by Mephi's comm. But Disciple finally seeing the threat coming in. Looks as if he's dealt with that fairly promptly. A Cerberus turret wailing away on him at the moment, but that's going to be pushing in. And Zanu he's on an upgrade. Zanu, that's not a great place to stand. Oh my goodness, is he going to have to cancel the upgrade? I don't think he's going to risk it. But Zanu, I don't think that's a great idea. And oh my goodness, and out of the game in only 8 minutes and 52 seconds. Being caught out on an upgrade. That's the most desperate situation where you think you just have enough hit points to survive, and Mephi gets first blood. And what an irritation for Team 1, having lost one of their frontal players so early in the game. And that leaves this left-hand flank completely exposed. Disciple will be able to pick up the pieces from the remaining economy, which will give him a slight boost and hopefully fill the gap to Mephi's advance. He does have a few FAMs and Zuis running up the left-hand flank. But I think it looks as if Eternity probably wants to get involved as well, and he is pushing his units in the form of FAMs and probably Zuis, although I can't remember make up. Looks FAM dominant though, against the Auroras of Lappin. I'll keep an eye on, I probably would say those units aren't going to get too far at the bottom right, but Disciple having lost his comrade in action. Looks very, very thin on the ground. He just doesn't have the land units at the moment. What has he got in this firebase? He's going to try and put up a triad. He's suffering from power issues at the moment. He's really bottomed out completely on power. Not really sure why. He's got an unholy amount of power generators. He's got 30, but it's not going to be quite enough. He's trying to support that shield, making sure he doesn't get caught out. Those triads will afford him that little bit of extra protection, but Mephi's decided he's going to completely surpass Disciple's frontal proxy base here, and he is definitely going up the left-hand flank. Down here, a little bit of a scuffle between Eternity and Lapin again. Eternity on a com upgrade at the moment, but he's got an Ilshipper down, as well as, I believe that was a fighter bomber as it plunges into the earth. Natter getting involved as well, but unfortunately due to the tech differences with those Ilshippers, he's going to sweep those up pretty quickly. Cheeky Seraphim bomber trying to find its way to its target at the moment from Mephi. Mephi's commander getting the speed and range upgrade. He is going to be undoubtedly pushing up with this group of units down here. Tolzon looking fairly tentative considering his teammate has pushed up quite significantly. This little contingent of units now pushing up into Eternity's base, although interestingly enough, Eternity's grabbed some of the mass there, not just Disciple. And is that it is a group of Zuis, but he does handily have a Ayosha? Too sure, anti-air unit in there as well, which is going to dispense of those stingers fairly quickly. And the economy that's just been put down there is now going to die. Unfortunately, a few more bombing runs probably will fix that. You need to take out this mobile anti-air cannon at the back. He's got some Wagners pushing up from Iphilis at the moment. I'm still kicking myself about not being able to spot Iphilis' name. It's the curse of depending on looking at the commander rather than the name at the top right, but we all make mistakes. Torzon facing down Iphilis' commander, who as at the moment is D don't snipe. As it stands at the moment, it looks as if Eternity generally trying to break the right-hand flank down here. He's got a commander in the form of Natter in his way, despite having some Ilshippers and Zuis at the bottom. Some movement ping actually on him at the moment, but as this is happening, a huge push with tech in numbers actually in the form of Ilshippers as well. Personally, my second favourite Tech 2 unit of that particular range after the Obsidian. Ilshipper rips through base with its high rate of fire. That gun upgrade on Mephi as well. I mean, really, what have Team 1 got in defence? He's got a few strikers, which aren't going to do much. He's got a buzzkill at the front here, trying to prevent maybe a few TAP missiles from reaching where they need to go. An attack ping down on Iphilis. He's made it onto the other side of the water. Torzon perhaps sensing that he is in a spot of danger. He's getting wailed on by a Cerberus turret there, so he needs to move his commander back, ideally. And it looks as if the Natter has dispensed of the majority of units being flooded down there, but really I think the focal point of this battle, if I bring this back down just to normal speed, check on discipline as to what he's got Tech 2, but he hasn't got any other upgrades on that commander. He has got tech from Eternity coming up, but this looks very, very much like Team 2's game. There we go. Got the Tech 2 and the accelerator on Mephi, as we saw in the left-hand column earlier on. But Mephi, interestingly, not going for the commander straight away. In fact, he's actually trying to cut Iphilis off, which he's done very successfully. He's going to get no help from Eternity, apart from the offer that has come down. Eternity deciding that he's gone for definitely tech over numbers. hence why Team 1 at the moment don't have a great deal on the field. Mephi getting rid of that Otham with his commander, but Ithalis being trapped in the water at the moment. There are so many Ilshavas there. Pretty desperate times for Ithalis. He's getting all of his main body of units. I don't know what he's got. He's got a few Medusas up front here, but apart from the small base that he has at the back, he is pretty much pinned underneath Zeus. If he goes outside of that area, even with overcharge, because of Mephi's commander, he's pretty much pinned in the water. Be interesting to see whether or not there's any sort of significant, I don't know, obviously no chat happening at the moment. I was hoping to see maybe a marker or a few pings going down to signify that Ithalis' commander is trapped down there. I'm not really sure what he's going to do, because he cannot build point defense without exposing the head of his comm. As Luzan found out at one of my other casts not too long ago. He might be trying to make a break for it, Ithalis. His commander plodding happily through the water at the moment. Is he going to make a break for it? No, he's not. He's stopping at the edge. Is his head out of the water? I'm almost certain that head was out of the water then. Got some Othams coming down from Eternity. It looks as if Eternity's kind of holding the game together for Team 1 at the moment. It's amazing the difference ranking can make. If you look down the right hand side of the screen and look at the rankings of the players, it's very easy to see which players have been the most dominant by far, and the ones that perhaps have struggled a little more than others so far in this game. If I actually slow the game up just for a second to have a look at what's happening in bases, just so I don't miss anything. Disciple, perhaps he's got his economy back here, but there's nothing really being built. Only a Tech 1, you've got Tech 3 Air Factory pumping out some Tech 3 engineers at the moment. Perhaps more interestingly, Tech 3 stuff. Stuff is the best description I can make there. Units and buildings being made by Eternity. Ithalis having not really produced much more. You've got Tech 2 Land Factory there, Tech 1 Air Factory behind it. Disciple maybe with a land factory down there, but it looks as if Team 1 is struggling. Bring this back up to just plus 0 for the time being. Those Zeus, and of course the impact of Zeus not going to be able to hit a commander underneath the water. However, he is going to be hit by those torpedoes. Mephi forcing Ithalis. I'm not sure how Ithalis is going to get out of this. He's going to need support from the rest of his team, but the only form he's going to get is from these Othams coming out from Eternity. He does have Disciple coming down to help. Build Torps as visors Mephi is a great idea. I'm not sure where Torzon's commander is. Torzon, ideally, he needs to be pushing up to stop Ithalis from escaping down the bottom side of the pond. I doubt Mephi's going to allow him to get out that side. But there's always the possibility. Not really paying much attention down to the bottom right hand side of the map. Natter sitting pretty down here. Not too sure what Natter is doing at the moment. He is building artillery, trying to counter Eternity's push up there. Natter with a fairly significant base actually. He's got some Nothers in terms of fighter bombers, but he's not had too much in terms of support. He's just holding the right hand flank Natter at the moment. Oh, Ithalis. I do admire his courage trying to find a way out of this. But with the sheer amount of units, and they are not scrappy T1 units either, these are Ilshavas and Zeus, which are notoriously hard to get away from as a commander. We do have a drop up here, which is not going to make his destination from Natter. I'm not sure what was on the drop. I can only imagine it was trying to get rid of some of the economy. I think Eternity would have allowed it to happen. Bring this back up to +1. It's sort of a stalemate at the moment. A huge amount of gunships at the top here from Eternity. Keep an eye up those up at the left there. keeping an eye on Iphilus. I can't keep my eyes off him, really. There's such a massive amount of units. He's not going to get hit by these anti-air units, of course, but those aren't the threat. He does have a little help coming from Disciple and a few Rhino tanks as well. Attack pin going down once again, and these torpedoes being built by Mephi. I'm not sure what happened. I think those got killed by Disciple up there, the other torpedo launchers, and those torpedoes are just going to follow him all the way. He's going to have to reclaim that because that's the only thing that's able to damage him at the moment. But with the second one up and the third one coming along, he's not going to be able to reclaim that in time. A massive amount of volley fire, still unable to kill Iphilus at the bottom there. A massive air attack coming in between both factions at the moment. I'm quite staggered that Mephi's decided not to push in. As far as I can see, Iphilus at the moment is pinned. And he seems to have concentrated everything he has on making sure that Iphilus doesn't escape from that location. But I'm not sure whether he needs all of that. He probably could take out Disciple, which I think he might be. Disciple being brave, he gets a rank up in veterancy there. Dodging, you can't stop Disciple, that is not a fantastic idea. Just an incredible amount of Zooey fight. It's quite difficult to see with all the anti-air fire coming in, but Disciple perhaps being a little too brave. A few restorers out from Lappin as well, and that is Disciple. He should really go to the middle because he is going to die, and there he goes. Oh dear, Disciple being the second casualty of Team 1. It's looking bleaker and bleaker for Team 1. I've not seen anything on the field, and that's a massive hole now. Only Iphilus, who's pinned as well. It's only really Eternity left. He's got a small contingent of units moving down here, but they are going to be met by Lappins. And there it goes, Iphilus. Disciple not knowing what to do against this amount of spam, and that leaves Team 1's highest ranking player on his own. What on earth he's going to do? He does have Othams on the field. He has pushed down here as well. Lappin's commander sitting pretty down in the pond, and as well as Nata's commander just south of him. But pretty much nowhere to be seen, really, apart from those gunships earlier out. Not sure what he's going to do. And he has gone an experimental, which I have missed. He's... My god, what is his economy? That's a disgusting amount of economy. How could I have missed that? 261 mass is so much higher than everyone else, and that is because he holds the entire area. He's got an attack ping down on Mephi, so his teammates have noticed that experimental, and I believe that the ball of death that comes out from Iathota might be able to penetrate the water, which will be hazardous for Mephi, no doubt. But keep an eye on that circle, because that is the experimental. There's a few restorers there, which I'm not really sure why they're not trying to damage alongside the... Well, they're only torp bombers, but those restorers can certainly make a dent. And oh dear, that Iathota being a threat, I'm not too sure. Let's have a look down here, slow things down a bit. I'm sorry, the continual scrolling, but there's quite a lot going on. I cannot spot an experimental in any of those bases. A Galactic Colossus only just been started by Lappin, but with so little build capacity on it, that is going to go up slowly. Might just get up in time, because that Iathota is going to be concentrating on getting Mephi out of the game. Mephi pushing his unit up the left hand side, hoping maybe to damage the economy, but with Othams piling out, I don't know whether Eternity has seen where he needs to redirect the Othams. He hasn't. He hasn't got the radar coverage at the moment. He only has a very small scope, so he's not going to see this attack coming from the left hand side. I'm not sure why there's an attack ping going down on that engineer. That's a little bit mean. The Iathota finally being attacked by the Restorers. It does have a small amount of anti-air, the Iathota. restore his tanky little units at 5,600 a pop. Some nice anti-air from that little lightning tank down there as well. But that Yathota's going to have to move. He's got to seek veterancy to ensure that he has a higher heal rate. Those units now sitting off the coastline, a few wall sections preventing a direct assault. But he does have Othams piling, as I said, down the left-hand side to deal with the Zuis coming in. That Yathota's still very, very healthy, having not really had much of its hit points taken off. Torzon bringing back his commander to his base, probably to assist on the GC. Wow, that GC went up quickly when the rest of the build capacity went up. That GC should be really the answer for that Yathota, having such a significant, pretty much double the hit points as that Yathota has taken damage. But an experimental bomber out for Eternity, which, I'm going to have to slow this down to, is that +1? Yeah, +1. An attack ping coming out. Oh my goodness me, this could be a game changer, sitting on his own for Team 1. There's a few ASFs in the mix, but he does have ASFs of his own. It's a Team 1, I don't know why Team 2 haven't managed to get ASF and air dominance out. That experimental bomber going and hitting, where's it going to? Oh no, it's not. It's not going where I think it's going, is it? Boom! There it goes! Torzon's base, stopping the experimental bomber short. Look at this micro from the 72nd one, oh my god! Oh my goodness! 163 kills and he's not done yet. And a second bomb. Is he going to go for another one? A massive amount of hail of Tech 1 anti-aircraft fire, and that experimental bomber has put a huge hole in Team 2. I cannot believe this. He has stood single-handedly against the entire enemy team, and he is actually beginning to win. Oh my god, that is a massive blow. That experimental bomber is just wrecking everything. They're going to have to throw everything they have at it to stop, because 242 might just slow it down very, very quickly. What on earth has that gone on? That is a... that can't be it. It is a 5-star veterancy on that, and because he's microing it so perfectly, sound like a right fanboy at the moment, but I'm absolutely in awe of how Eternity has pulled this game around. I only watched this up to about halfway distance because I thought, well, it looks as if one team's going to win. I genuinely did not know that Eternity was going to bring this game back. Whether or not he is able to finish it is yet to be seen, but look down the right hand side at the massing and Lapin hugging his 70 mass. All other players in the game have had their economies completely and utterly wrecked, and one experimental bomber and a whole host of good micro has crushed Team 2. I'm not particularly sure what can be done about this. He has anti-air, but it's not going to be enough, because at one pass it's going to be taken down. 358 kills. I have never seen an experimental bomber used so effectively. Stopping and starting. It looks as if it's steaming out there. Got it on hover mode at the moment, not able to get a bomb away as he wants to, but look at that micro. He's pulling it back around. I'm just staggered. He's trying to get rid of the only threat to him, and he will in that pass. Goodbye anti-air. And it's just a matter of time now. Mephi has decided he has had enough. And there goes the entire left flank. I am absolutely stunned. He did not even gift. Mephi is furious that his team did not help him home in the advantage that they had, having pretty much pinned Ithalus's commander and taken out Zanu so early in the game. Joly, I believe, must be Eternity, must be Joly then. It's all so hard, so difficult to tell who people are these days with the ever-changing name presence, but I must call them by the name that they desire, just as if Muhammad Ali did. And that bomber just circling happily above, wondering what his next target is going to be. Where is he going to go next? And that is going straight into the middle of this base. There is a shield. He spotted his next target. Weapons commander sitting under shields, as well as Natters as well. Torzon sitting under a shield with a GC. Bit perplexed as to why the GC wasn't used apart from in a defensive capacity. I'm sure it could have been put to better use pushing up, but having a Yathota, two Yathotas on the field, the GC is going to find itself outmatched just on firepower and hit points alone. Torzon, I'm not particularly sure why you're bringing your commander back. I can't say it's advisable with the experimental bomber lurking above. We bring this back up to +2. Looks as if Joly / Eternity is just picking off what he wants now. Put this up into +3. And that is a huge amount of units clustered. There's a movement ping going down. A lot of anti-air in the mix. Cyber and anti-air down there from Torzon, which, due to massive power issues, shields are failing. He's got absolutely... Oh, you have been defeated. Torzon has decided he's had enough. And there goes his commander as well. I don't blame him. This game is all but finished. Oh my goodness. Massive cluster of units there, getting lucky. Tech 2 shield just covering them off. And +4, those Yathotas are going to come in and finish the game. Experimental bomber. Just wondering what is next. 457 kills. Has done its job more than any other unit in this game. Lapin going down to the 2 Yathotas. And last but not least, Natter is going to bite the dust, it would seem, with only a matter of moments left. I'm not sure what that experimental bomber is doing. He's just recovering hit points, I think, before his final assault. A lot of Tech 1 air defense there, but those Yathotas finishing off, and that is the end of the game. What a turnaround. The side of saying I think they're rather salty. And Joly, Eternity winning pretty much the entire game on his own. What an amazing comeback for Team 1. Well, as always, thank you incredibly for watching, and of course thank you very much for the feedback. I got a great deal of comments on my last video about the types of things you guys are looking for. So stay tuned for more sort of higher level pro videos. I'll be sure to be delivering as many as I possibly can do. But until next time, I was going to say stay well and stay safe. That's definitely not my signing out. But stay tuned and I will see you next time.